Hi everyone. Today we have Kunaal with us, and I recently started writing a lot, and I've been collecting ideas. And since you all know, I've been journaling for so long, and I everything that I like in a book or a podcast, I keep them down in my journal. But over the years, I've realized that writing them down on your journal doesn't really help you because you can't go back and search for them. That's when I started documenting my ideas on notes and on something digital so that I can search more about it. So today I have Kunal who's been documenting his ideas and who's been creating amazing content. So today he is sharing with us his journey of talking about ideas and documenting them in a proper way. So hi Kunal, thank you for being here with us.
Hey, thank you for calling me on, Shreya.
So tell us about your documentation journey and how do you store your ideas?
So it all began with you have this 10 ideas. You have to write 10 ideas on a topic, and then you keep going no matter what, right? And I don't know if it's Altucher or somebody.
Dream Saltucher,
Uh,
yeah.
yes, that's the person who gave me the idea, right? I thought, okay, let me put that idea, and I wrote three ideas on a topic, and I would go blank. And so I was like determined. No, I mean, if you told, let me just try it at least for, let's say, 60 days, and before I move on to something, right? So I put that ideas for 60 days on how to create videos or audio format or write content or even write a book. And I put all the random ideas that I could, and that sort of gave me the habit of putting ideas down on a paper. And then 60 days later, I built the habit of journaling where I started writing, okay, how can I do this? What should I put on a website? What are the sources that I can create content? Where should I create content from? So all of these things started, as you can see, it started as a jumbled, way of doing things. But underlying, there was that internal drive to keep going no matter what, right? And so that started the idea of it. But down the line, 3 months down the line, I realized that I'm not referring back to those notes. And even maybe 1 year down the line also, I was not referring back to the notes, right? So I created another notebook where I used to transfer the notes that I had that I felt are important to that notebook so that I can action things on top of it. But again, that became cumbersome. Then I started creating more notebooks and then started categorizing it, and then it was all over the place. But underlying the journey that, hey, I want to journal is continuing, right? So I've been doing journaling for, let's say, 1500 days, more than that. And so now recently I've discovered a way to put all of these together, and that's what we'll be talking about in this.
Wow, I'm so excited, and I would like to know our listeners that I recently appeared on Kunal's interview, and where we discussed more about this, and that's when he told me about Obsidian, and the concept was so breathtaking that I immediately downloaded it and I started using it. So, Kunal, tell us about your journey using Obsidian and what is Obsidian for people who do not know.
Yes. So Obsidian is a note-taking app which has two main features in it. It's it's a text-based note-taking app, and the way that you write note on it is using Markdown. So if you're familiar with writing books or technical notes or codes, you'll know about Markdown. It's basically, instead of you hitting Control B for bold or writing heading one, using control options, you can simply write it down using codes, right? So that's one of it, one of the features where you can simply use a text-based format without any distractions of formatting, and just focused on writing, and hence that becomes a very, let's say, distraction-free application for you to write, and it's focused on people who want to write and link their ideas. Now, when I say link that ideas, that's the second feature of Obsidian, and there are other features, but primarily with these two features, you're good to go, get started, and have everything started on this Obsidian, right? The second feature is called bi-directional linking. Now, where does this bi-directional linking come from? Our brain is basically it's a network of ideas rather than a linear set of ideas, right? So when I was jotting down journals earlier on, when I started, I'd write down, okay, let me create a website, and this is how my website format is looking like. And then when I'm writing that idea, I'll get into another idea. Oh, this can be a topic that I can make a video of. And then when I'm doing that topic, explaining that topic, I'll get an idea. Oh, this is another idea that is separate, but it can be a different series, right? So I kept hopping from different ideas, and I had to always tell myself, no, 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 get back to that track and jot down the ideas first, right? And so now, what this bi-directional linking does is that it helps you link the way your brain thinks, and then interrelate the ideas the way you want it. So you'll have a collection of independent ideas which you can then link together. And then let's say now you are searching for a topic to write on. You will basically see all the network linked of all of these ideas, and then you put them together to post out content, right? And it sort of creates this ideas, a network of ideas, which instead of you having in your brain and having to remember it in the way that you want to remember it, instead of that, you sort of create a second brain which helps you put all of that ideas dumped and linked in the way that you originally thought of. So they go by the saying, your brain is good for generating ideas, linking ideas, and all of that thing, but it's not good for storing or remembering. Like, just imagine a 5 MB or 10 MB storage that you have on your brain, but imagine the other side, that multi-processing side of your brain that creates ideas and generates ideas, that you are good at, right? And so Obsidian solves that problem, where you have all your ideas, and the way that you link or think is present in this particular tool.
I totally agree with that. In fact, when I am writing down articles, when I am working on a blog post or something, I reach midway and then I come up with another idea that is related to the blog post, but that can't be included in the same article. So sometimes I have at least five, six more ideas related to that particular topic, and I just get confused. And sometimes I leave it in between, and then I started working on another article. So that creates a lot of like a lot of information in your brain, but you don't know how to connect it or how to store it, because when you are in your flow state and when you're writing it down, so if
Yes.
you don't immediately take an action, you may lose that idea. So I think
Yeah,
that's
and true. So many ideas get lost just because that you have to stay focused on the writing that article.
yes, absolutely. So I love that notion about Obsidian, but yeah, a lot of people are using Notion as well, and I started using Notion earlier this year. So, how do you differentiate Notion with Obsidian?
So I use both currently. When I started taking considering Notion, it was paid tool, but then it later became a free tool. And so Notion is it has more of a project management element to it, and so it's more like a tracking performance sort of a thing, and it has more elements which sort of help. It has more elements like formatting and all of that things within it, which makes it powerful for doing project management, having your ideas, creating your brand assets library, ad copies, having a mood board, having a project timeline view or a Kanban view where you can track things very well. So it's a whole different purpose. But for those people who are writing and have their ideas interrelated, right, and to have a repository of continuous flow of content creation and who love writing, for them Obsidian is a place, right? So I still use both of them. Like, for example, I'll have, let's say I have a template to write a story, right? I will link that template to Notion and I have that template there. Or let's say I'm creating a YouTube set of videos for YouTube. I have that process or categorized nicely in Notion. And whenever I have an idea or thought, I'll just link my Notion link here so I can go there and interact with it, right? But Obsidian, on the other hand, is for more writer friendly, right? Like where you're focused on creating content in the writing format. And so that's where like my habit of writing things and not losing the interrelated ideas that I have came into picture. And that's where now I use both interconnectedly. I
That's
hope this
amazing.
gives the differentiation.
Yes, it actually explains a lot about the main difference between these two. So I think we have kind of understood the concept of Obsidian and building a second brain. Kunal, will you guide us through how to begin with Obsidian and some tools that beginners can use? I'm still
Yeah,
struggling with
absolutely.
Obsidian, Like I have noted down my thoughts and some ideas, but I don't know how to link them to another folder or what codes to use. So that would be
Yep.
amazing.
Sure. So let me share my screen and
Perfect.
we'll get started. Okay. Can you give me the screen share access? Yeah. Oh, hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
And this should be visible. Cool. So basically, if you and let me just open up my folders also. Okay. So basically, if you open up Obsidian, you'll see there's this vault system. Now, vault is uh, anything but just a reference to a folder, right? So if you see, I'm referenced to this folder, Z raw daily writing, and that's the folder that's where my second brain is created, right? And there's another one which I'll be using for this demo. It's called the second brain demo. And if I look at that folder, you'll see this is the demo folder, right?
I can't
So it's
see
based.
anything.
Oh, it's
The
not showing.
screen, I can only see your WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Screen one this became. Sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
no problem.
Okay, I'll just start again.
Okay.
Um, so now if you can see my screen, you see I have this Obsidian window open and there's this graph view with a couple of things. There's this README file, second node, first node, and root node.
Hmm.
I will come to this how this forms. Primarily, first let me just show you the folder structure so that you look at this concept more from a uh, more simplified notes notes app rather than a very complicated tool, right? So with this, you'll see that on the desktop, I have a folder which is called the second brain demo. And the one that I use is this, where it's a bunch of folders with different notes in them, right? It's just markdown notes. And markdown is, we'll come to that concept. But anyway, so, and then you also have something called as a vault concept in Obsidian. Vault would mean that anything that is a folder, right? It's just a synonymous name in Obsidian. Uh, Obsidian is a basically a element, so you can store it in a vault because you want to keep it safe. And so Obsidian refers to vault as folders. Now, there are two different vaults I have, folders, aka folders. One of them is this, where this is my original one, and this is for the demo, right? The second brain demo. And in this, you'll see that there are some Obsidian files which are available, really simple application. And then there are some notepads, notebooks available, right? I can simply right click and say edit with, let me say, open with, Okay, I don't have Notepad, but let me just use Notepad++. And you'll see that I just have basically some lines of codes, and I can just sort of write anything within this, right? So it's as good as a notebook application, just that it's .md. It can be .txt file also, but it works primarily on .md file. Don't get worried about the md. It's just a way to represent a specific type of text formats, right? Now, if it is a MD file, what you will also notice that it will get listed. Let me just expand this a little bit. It'll get listed in your second brain demo, which is the same folder that I have. You'll see that first note, readme, root note, and second note are getting listed there. So hope you got the idea of the file structure and how this application is linked to the folders that we have created. Does that make sense, Shreya, till now?
Yes, it does. And I want to add something here. Like I didn't do it outside the Obsidian tab. I created the folders in this same gray screen, like in the software itself. That like I
That's
created a
okay.
new vault, I guess.
Yeah, you can create a new vault, and basically what this does is it'll create a folder.
Yeah.
So the same thing, it'll just create a folder such as this, right? So, and if you have any existing folders, you can just also say, like open folder as a vault, right? So you can open another folder as a vault, that is this one, right? So that, anyways, any method works. If you want to create a new folder through this, you can create it, or just create a folder in a location that you want and just say open from that, and it'll sort of set you up. So for now, I am in this folder or the vault. It's called the second brain demo, where it's completely a blank sheet for me to work with, and I have some notes which I'll delete and then we'll recreate them. Okay, does that sounds good? Okay, so let me go there, and I'm going to delete these notes. Okay, and as you can see, now you have a README file. It's basically just a README file to describe what that folder is about. So let's go back to creating a new note. So if you want to create a new note, this is how you create a new note. You say new note, and let's call this a root note, or you can just say home or something like that, right? Root note or home, right? So I generally have a root note, which basically it's sort of a North Star, where all the notes, all the main categories that I'm writing about will begin here. So I'll just say home, and let's say I want to write about stuff. And why did I do a hashtag here? Hashtag is a heading one if you're familiar with HTML, or let's say even with Word documents, you'll see that heading one, heading two, heading three, and all of that thing, right? And ensure that you give a space to be able to make it a heading one. And if you just say Control E, it'll make it, it sort of makes it like this, right? Like a readable format.
Okay. So
Control E.
hashtag space and then control A.
Yeah, so Control E, yes. It's basically, where is that? Sorry, here. So Control or click to preview this page. And the shortcut for this basically is this. Like you say Control E, it becomes into the readable format. Control E, E for elephant. Then you can edit it, right? So if you're like on a page and you're not able to edit it like this, it means that you need to go into the editing mode. So just say Control E, and then now you'll be able to edit it, right? Now, next thing, let's say you want to speak about some broad topics, or take notes. So for example, I have YouTube in mind as a topic, because I make a lot of YouTube videos. So I'm going to put a topic with a dash there, and you'll see, notice that the dash comes out automatically, right? And I also want to write some Medium articles, and I also want to write some LinkedIn posts, right? So these are the form of contents that I want to create. So and just noted it down, and you'll see now this becomes home and that list of topics. And I'll simply add another place here saying I will be write about all the topics, you will create content. Create content, right? And basically, I can just say italic, Control I, which will make it italic. And if you just look at it, you will see that this is how it's going to be looking like, right? Or um, you can do things like maybe Control B, and it'll make it bold also, right? So I'm just going switching between Control E, editing mode, and the view mode, just to give you an example of how neatly it's going to be looking like and how easy it is to format, right? You will not have any other like distractions of how right click and then bold or something like that, right? It's purely it's played around with all of these things. And so that's why you get to focus on writing. Once you get a hang of all few of these basic things, it's easy for you to get a hang, right? So that's one of the things. Now, one more thing I will introduce is hashtag, just like the typical hashtag we use in social media, right? So let's say this is a place where you want to create content. So I'm just going to say content um, creation as a hashtag, right? So now this is a hashtag which we'll come to later. But the difference between this and this is that this hashtag does not have a space after the hash. This one has a space, and this is basically heading one. And if you want like a heading two or something like that, what you can do is you can say double hash, and you'll have a heading two available, right? This is for anybody who wants to write a book or something like that, where they want a title, a subtitle, and then subtitle. So you can keep going based on the hash technique that you have. Does that is it clear so far, Shreya?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now I'll just expand and I'll just show you. This is heading two. I just expand this place and I'll just show you the basically this. Sorry, where is this? Preview. Okay, that we will come to later. Okay, this thing will come to later. It'll only come if we start linking stuff. Okay, cool. Anyway, so uh, now once we have this, now this is the first part where you are able to write the notes, right? Like it's a simple text file where you have these certain elements together. And now you want to write notes or link them, right? Now let's say YouTube is the idea that I want to expand on more. So I select this and I just do double square brackets. So the double square bracket basically creates a page of its own. Now let's look at the library that here. We have this root node or home node, a node, and this one is YouTube. So I'm just going to now control click on this and it'll create a YouTube node here. And if you go back, you'll see that it's created this youtube.md, right? So I'll just say all video ideas in this node, right? And then I'll say, okay, idea one, idea two, and so on so forth, right? Now, so what this does is you're now able to basically link from here to this particular thing. And if you just do Control E, now it's a clickable link, right? So in your this thing, it becomes a clickable link. So you go there, and now you're on this node where you're from this particular location. You're going to this YouTube link. Now, if you go to the graph view, this automatically creates this link for you, right? So you have this root node from where you have this YouTube as another topic, right? And let me just go back to this node and quickly create the same bidirectional link to, let's say, Medium and then LinkedIn, Control E. Now, if I click on Medium and go back to root node and LinkedIn, I now have basically, LinkedIn and Medium as another thing, right? So the same thing, I can basically say Medium all article ideas here. LinkedIn, all post ideas here. Okay. So far, you'll see now, basically with this root node, right? You now have 3 different topics to it. And now you want to basically now, let's say, expand on the YouTube videos, right? So you'll say, okay, good. Let's make a video on how to use Obsidian. This is the first idea I have. And so what I'll do is I can say double square bracket, and let's say how to sync Obsidian nodes to GitHub, right? So that's another link that we have, right? Now, these becomes 2 different links. Now, if I click that, it creates a page of its own. And what I can do here is that I can say related to my, I just say double square bracket. Now it's searchable, right? So all that YouTube or whatever you have, it will be searchable, right? So basically now this is, I just like to copy this and paste it here. So now this is a node which is linked to again YouTube. So if I just click here, this is related to YouTube because that's where this is occurring. And similarly, if I click here, I'm able to now put this and then say this is related to again YouTube. Hey, how about can I write this on an article for Medium? So also write this as a Medium, and then I can say Medium article, right? So this is where I'm like just trying to jump around and getting the ideas, right? Now I know that this is Medium, and so let's see how our graph will be looking, right? So basically, if you look at it, this is our root node. From here, we developed an idea on, let's say, creating 2 different topics for how to use Obsidian and how to sync Obsidian nodes. But then there is this another connection from here to here saying, hey, why can't we write a Medium article on top of it also, right? So that's how it is. And probably let's go to here and let's say also to promote write 5 LinkedIn posts to be scheduled on Publar, right? So these are the things. Now, again, these are like 2 different nodes. So let's say I want to basically get them as a bulleted point. So I just do this. And now there are 2 different points, and I've basically linked all of this also, right? So if you go back here, you'll see that's the same idea. This one is now an idea that can be leveraged across all these tools as a creation, right? And so that's how it's basically getting your ideas together and building on top of it, and then creating the links, right? And basically this is how you think, and you're starting to write things as you go along, right? I'll take a pause here, Shreya, and just take a stock of things if you've understood so far on this.
Okay. I think I've pretty much understood how to begin. And previously, I was just writing things down and I didn't know the concept of the double bracket, and I was unable to create the co-links. But now, after watching this, I've understood that every new idea needs to be created in a new folder, right? So that you can make
a new note. Yeah, new note.
New note.
Yeah,
Okay.
new note.
So
Yeah.
so you can connect it with
Yes.
other related topics.
Correct.
Okay.
So
that
yeah,
means
so basically in a nutshell, if you have a note, right, I typically use this related and then link it. But if I'm writing it down and I get some idea, I convert that into a link, right? So for example, Publer is something that I use very often. So I'm going to create this as a new link for a later sometime to dwell on it, right? So I just come here, say, you know, let's say, learn how to use Publer effectively, right? So that's another thing that I have. And now basically I created another link just on the fly while I was thinking. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So that means you will have different folders for different uh, ideas or different domains. So this is for your, let's suppose it's for content creation. So we
Yes.
can create as many folders for different categories. Like if I'm writing a book, I can create a totally different vault for a book.
No. So
And if I want to, no,
don't create another vault, right? So
okay,
within a vault, you can create folders to group things up, but don't go away, like create another vault. Like just stick to one vault.
okay,
And no matter how disparate or how different ideas they are, stick to one vault. And I'll show you how we can like start organizing stuff now in the next step. Like basically now we're going to get into folders where we are. So basically we call these, if you can see all of these .md things, they are the notes. And we currently don't have any folders. Like we are in the second brain folder that we have here. And so we will basically now create within this folder so that we can group the similar nodes together. Does that make sense?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so here's another tip that I think will be very helpful. Do not try to create a lot of folders, because then you'll start organizing those folders too often, right? The idea is to have that free flow of your ideas and not be able to think about them. And so I'll give you some quick tips on how to basically keep organizing it, and keep the organizing of the folders time separate from when you're writing stuff, right? When you're writing stuff, uh, your links will be created. It's just your notes will be there. It's just that it will not have a folder to belong to, right? But everything will be there. So you need to differentiate that. Hey, while you're writing, stick to just writing and linking. That's it. Like, don't categorize within folders, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think it makes sense.
Okay, so let me just quickly switch to my vault where I do things for myself, and I'll show you some folder structures that I worked with and some quick tips to ensure that your folders are in the order that you want, or are organized in the way that you want to look at it, right? So let me just quickly go there. I am going to close this up. Okay, and I'm just going to minimize this a little bit. So if you look at this, I have this second brain Obsidian. That's where all of my folders are there. And if you see in the root, right, you'll see that I have put 000 root. That's because the order is either like A to Z or Z to A. And so if you're creating folders, create them with a tag of these three digit number, and space each of them in let's say 10 formats of 10. So let's say in case you want to add something between two different folders, you can say 0 0 1 0 or 0 1 1. And so I was able to fit daily and atomic nodes one after the other, right? And similarly, anything that is uncategorized, I've put that as 1,000. This is where all the nodes like we generated here, right? And if you're not able to categorize it, you're going to store them into this uncategorized, where I have all of these uncategorized formats, and I intend to categorize them later. As I said, focus on writing and not categorizing, right? And so what happened is these folders did not get created like from the beginning, day one. It was getting created as and when I wrote on things that mattered, and more and more I wrote, more these folders got created over time. Like the writing time and the create organizing time was different. Anyway, so this is how the folder is, the idea is looking like. Let me just quickly go there and create a folder structure, which primarily will consider this technique. One is the create content as a category of folder. And the other one, let's consider your book reading notes, right? I love to read books and notes. My book notes are unfortunately all over the place, but I'm going to slowly transfer them to Obsidian. Or for the fact that any courses, online courses I take and any notes that I take, they typically are somewhere in a notebook, and I now have to get all of these here. So first things first, what you need to do is you need to have a root node. So I'm just going to say root here. Basically, anything that has to do with like an index of a book. Like, so whenever you're reading a book, there's an index that you can refer to, right? And that book, imagine the book is your book, and you can have whatever subject, topic, idea you have as an index there, right? So for example, let me just show you some of the examples of the notebooks that I have. I have a home where basically this is the home note, where all nodes link to this home. This is where I always start, right? So for example, I have this thinking place where I want to do things on self. There's daily notes, there's reading, there's action items. And then there are data science topics where I have I want to introduce a concept called the data science the nonlinear way, snippets of contents, podcasts. I have 3 different podcasts running, and around that, what I want to be doing. And there's this YouTube channel, writing. I still have to get it on. Then you have, let me just show it in this format. And then I have like tools of exploration. This is something that this is a topic that I want to explore. What are the subscriptions I have? Podcast tool stack, personal management, my resume. There's goals for 2020. Now 2021 will come in. Relationship and this is just to tag my friends or partners or whoever supported me in doing certain actions. And then I have certain hashtags which I will be using um, throughout the writing process, right? So this is just an index for me to know what all I'm writing about, and anything new or something that comes in, it comes here and fits here. So I know, okay, I just go here and then keep clicking on things that I have there, right? And this passive income, which is a topic which I write about. And so all of these different disparate ideas that I have, like the data science or podcasts or YouTube, reading books, self-improvement online courses, the tool wizard, there's a list of tools that I have that I use, a collection of quotes, and Obsidian on how you use or learn Obsidian, right? So basically that's how I'm able to move fast in learning Obsidian, because I capture every little thing that I learn, right? And so this is the root node structure. And if I go back here, I'm sorry, I'm doing a lot of things together, but it's just going to give you a wide exposure. And so you'll be able to pick and choose the things that you want to do. But keep it simple initially when you begin, and then expand as you go.
I am just
Okay.
amazed looking at your folders. I don't know how much time it will take me to get there.
Yeah, I mean, don't look at it in this way. It'll take time to organize. Like every mind is very different,
Yes.
and so I'm just giving like broad ideas or exposure to certain topics. And so you'll find out, like, you've already been journaling a lot, and you have categories, you have sections of what you write there, right? It's
Yes.
just that now it has to transfer to this. My only recommendation is don't do it at all at once.
Hmm.
Like keep writing and linking. That's the first thing. Writing and linking is the first thing,
Okay.
and then the folder and categorization comes later, right? And the folder structure that I'm sharing right now
Hmm.
is basically a way to you to create the folders and structure it the way that you want it, right? But these nutshell, it's basically this numbering system, right?
Okay.
One is I found that the numbering system from triple digit number from start to bottom is helpful. In that way, you can insert folders the way you want and where you want it in, without losing the without thinking that, oh, I have to change all these things again, right? It's going to be a big pain if you have to change a lot of things. And so that folder structure keeps it easy. And the other thing is, now once you've created this folder, right, let's say, LinkedIn is a big topic, Medium is a big topic, the root topics, and YouTube is the big topic that you have, right? So these are the things. And then I'm going to create another folder, and I'm going to call this as, let's say 100 and atomic notes, right? And basically, okay, and maybe, yeah, Publer, let's say Publer is another topic. And these atomic notes basically go here. README, we can just leave it there. And so now basically you have one root node where you have all of these. And now the beauty of this is, if you change this, right, the links get updated automatically. So you don't have to worry about renaming and naming. Automatically, the system takes care if you rename something, right? So let's say, YouTube is priority number 1 for me. So I'm going to say 001, and it'll say update all of these things. I'm just going to say I'll always update. Medium is going to be, let's say,
Why does it ask that question? All update all links. What happens when you update that?
Yeah, so basically, if you see, we wrote YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And YouTube exists in these 3 notes,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So if I change YouTube to 0001 YouTube, it should be updating here also. So you'll see automatically it updates it.
Wow.
So you don't have to really worry about renaming anything. Like, all your links will get updated if you update it at one place. That's the beauty of this. Like, you really don't have to bother about anything while taking notes. Just focus on taking notes and linking them. Anything else can be changed or modified later on without having to go through pain of doing things. It's just remember this root structure, that 00 format, if you want to have it in a certain order. That's all you need to know, right? And so LinkedIn, let me just quickly finish this. I'll just say 00110. In fact, let me just put 030 0120, and let me just put this as 010, right? And Publer is, let's say, 040, right? So now you have it in the order. Just because the numbering system, you'll see that the order becomes in the format, right? You don't have sort or move in this Obsidian, so you'll have to always rely on like the numbering system. And atomic notes, I don't really number them because I want it to be there in the way that I write it, right? And so that's how this structure is. And so now you have this structure. And if you just go back, let me just show you, you'll see that the folders are automatically getting created here, right? Instead of you could do it in your folders on the back end, something like this, but these folders are just getting created automatically in your system.
But
Does that make?
Yeah, it does make sense. But why do we need these folders? I don't understand the concept of these folders. The .md file.
Yeah, so the .md file is just synonymous to .txt files, right? So
okay, so that means it is it can be transferred.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it can be transferred, right? So this is basically your .txt file. If you just open it in a notepad, you'll get a bunch of text that is available here, right? So that's the MD file, and these are your atomic notes. Like, you have an idea that comes in your mind, it will become that one MD file, right? Or the text file. And so you just put that idea there. And if that idea is related to something else, then you put it there, right? So for example, let me just show you one thing that I have. So if you see here, these are the tools that I have. And if I go back to the root node, this is a tool wizard. I'm just going to close this here. So if you see, this is the tool subscription. This tool wizard is a name that I'm using for myself, a branding sort of a thing. But in general, it's the tools that I use. It's related to tool subscription, what all tool subscriptions I have. And I then categorize all the tools I have by different topics. And each of this is one topic, right? So if I just go to Audacity, Audacity is one node where it's related to all of these other things like CLL editing process. So if I go to the editing process, this is how the editing process looks like. There are other tools like Zencaster. If I go to Zencaster, then I'll be able to go there. And then I can come back to this node where I have, right? So it's basically, I'm just trying to link around on how I think on this tool concept and where proportionately I'm able to link them together, right? And if you go back, you'll see this is my daily notes. Where's the tools folder? Each of this is basically a note where I can just say edit. And if I write something here, it'll automatically edit it. Let's see something here. Yeah. So you'll see this is available as I have written it there. Right. Okay. So does that make sense for now?
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, this is all you need to start off with Obsidian. And then depending on some usages that you have, Shreya, I can tell you how you can think or approach
Yes.
doing that.
Yes, that would be amazing. I just want to know one more thing. So you have your folders segregated depending on your content creation, book writing, and personal stuff. So when you build that connection, when you interlink it, how does it appear? I mean, is it a different graph for your personal stuff or your different folders? So how does the graph appear? Does it link together or it's the I mean, it's just one graph connecting everything you have created.
Yeah. So the folders are like for creating graph. All of the MD files are one piece of information, right? And so this one piece of information can be connected to any piece of information. Just imagine, like if the folder structure was not there, you'll have let's say hundreds of MD files, text files, .txt files, right? And each txt file can be interrelated to anything you want within your second brain that you have, right? So for example, I can relate this one to a note in this one, and it doesn't matter. It's folders are only there for you to organize or keep the notes organized so that you can reference it much more easily. uh, but essentially all of these root nodes, that is MD nodes, can be linked to anything, right? So you'll see that all of these root MD nodes are linked to wherever you can. If you just look at my graph, so all of this dot represents that one MD node, any of them.
This is just
And
one MD node. That means it has all the
yeah,
folders. No.
yeah, folders will not be visible here,
Okay.
only the
Okay.
MD node.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So each one is the MD node. Like each note you see is this note, like
Okay.
.md
Hmm.
is the text file, and each of them is that note that you have there.
Okay. So the biggest circle would be your root node, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So bigger circle will be like how many
Whatever.
nodes are attached.
Okay.
Yeah, attached. So in
Okay.
this tool wizard, I have so many things attached. If you look at it
Hmm.
a little closer,
Wow.
you'll see that I have like all the tools that I use: Loom, Toggle Track, Crisp.ai, Bluehost, Obsidian, Stream Deck, Google Sheets, all of that, all the tools that I use. And there are some notes you'll see that have date there, right? So you'll see that this has a date. So on this date, I decided to do something, right? So let's see what I did. Yeah, so I purchased this thing that I have here, and so I was able to do have a note of when I purchased this, so I can remember when to cancel or do the subscription, right?
Wow.
So if I go back, you know, that's what the thing is, that you can reference back to certain things. So this is just one note, which is linked to other notes. That's it. And they can be in any folder that you want.
Okay. It's
And my
simply
home,
amazing. It's just mind blowing.
I know it takes a little bit of learning curve, but I mean, if we have sessions like this where we exchange notes and ideas, over time, I think so. You know, you'll have created a separate brain that is only unique to you.
And you can always come back when you're out of ideas or when you don't know who you are anymore, right? You
Yeah,
can always find what you were doing that particular day or what are you thinking about the most. Because if you're thinking about certain things, you are more likely to create a lot more interlinks related to that topic.
correct. Yeah, that was what's happening to me, right? So tool
Hmm.
wizard was something that is like automatically becoming a natural topic for me. And then podcasting, like on starting a podcast is becoming another small topic. And then YouTube channel ideas, I've still not gotten all of that thing, but this will become a lot bigger. And then the data science non-linear way, right? So these big spots are the ideas that you are generally going to be working on more.
Wow. I think I desperately need it because I am writing things down about my self-love book since last 4 years. So I have notes about self-love and everything that I've learned about that topic, and they are uh, segregated uh, and distributed in so many of my journals, and I don't know how to collect them because I need to sit for one entire day reading through my old journals. So
More
that's a
notes, yes.
lot of topic. But imagine if I had known about this amazing software, I would have saved so much time.
Time, yeah, I know. Yeah, so one thing that I'm doing in transferring my journal now, because we both are in the same situation where you have to transfer the notes. So what I'm doing is, like, any disparate idea or any independent idea, uh, just imagine the one answer that you wrote for Quora, the one post that you made on LinkedIn, or the one Twitter post you made, are all one notebook. So you just create a new notebook and give a title to that idea and dump it here. Copy paste, simple.
Copy paste the entire post.
Yeah. So I'll just give you an example.
Okay.
I'll just bring out my Publer. I have some posts. I'm experimenting with a lot. So let's say this is a post that I want to basically, you have it, right? So I'll take this um, post, go back to the note library. I'll just create a new note and call this on passive income. And I'll say linked in on passive income. Right. And then I just paste this. And then now, since this is a LinkedIn post, I'm going to put a hashtag saying LinkedIn post. And then I can say passive, hashtag passive income. And for you, it will be like self-love. If that's related to self-love, then you'll put that relevant hashtag, right? And so that, and then I have these things are also available. Yeah, I mean, sometimes these hashtags, I just synonymously use it for putting it there. But again, this became uh, the idea that you have stored, right? Now this is a separate note. Now what I can do is I can now then relate this to sorry, not here, but I'll go to LinkedIn and I'll say posts, right? And I will say this one, posts passive income, right? And the first idea, I will relate it to, if you say look for LinkedIn on passive income, you have that one post now linked, right? And so now you will keep linking all of those posts that you have to this one root node, right? So basically now is LinkedIn. Yeah, so LinkedIn now has that post on the passive income. In fact, you can just get rid of this. It's redundant. Yeah, so you have this LinkedIn where you have a note on passive income, right? And you can be a little bit descriptive about it, like a few lines doesn't really matter, doesn't really hurt. But now you have this post, and let's say you want to look for all the LinkedIn posts that you have are on self-love or passive income, right? So I'll just say LinkedIn, and you'll see that I get this all of these posts linked in post, and basically I get all of these things that I can copy and then put in another notebook, right? So for example, I have a lot of action notes. Let me show you I use a hashtag. I'll say action, and you'll see I have this so many action items: take notes for podcast and build video content, need to get back to this thing, create process for all I execute, create process for executing the plan, organize folders to keep it simple. So all of these action points are sort of getting created. I can just copy them, and you see all of them become a note. And so
Yeah.
with simple click, all your action becomes in one page, and you can now go back and forth all of these things. But yeah,
So it's like you are collecting all your thoughts about one thing or one
yes,
action or anything to that particular
yeah,
note.
yeah.
Wow.
And so just let me just copy the results. I copied the results. Okay, and let me go back to the folder and I say click notes, actions till 19th December 2020, and paste it, and you see all of the actions that I created uh, with that hashtag are all linked together, and you now have a new content idea to
Wow.
just like swivel through and write about it.
That's brilliant. That's
Yeah, and
truly brilliant.
just look at this. Huh? Now, if I open this in a new pane,
Hmm.
right now, so I have this reference back, right? So now I want to
Hmm.
edit it, and I want to take some things from it. So I just reference it here, and let's say I want to take, this portion that I like, and so I paste it here. So you see all of those nodes that you created now can be opened in different pans. So, okay, I got this. Let me just open this in another thing. Okay, I'll take this from this. And you keep like building your, like all these things all these ideas you had, you'll pick and choose all of these ideas, and boom, in like few minutes, you'll have another fully formed article.
Yeah. It's I still can't believe it. This is amazing.
I know, for like somebody who's been journaling and editing or creating content, it's like, oh my God, the holy grail.
Seriously. And once you start creating a node, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Then you have to create the entire mountain with your thoughts and your notes. Insane.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I mean, I can speak hours on this.
Yes. You have already given us enough information. You in the beginning you gave a shortcut for creating an interlink, right? What was it?
Yeah.
Double bracket.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, the way I do it is let's go back to YouTube and just use the on the keyboard shortcut. You'll have this curly bracket and square bracket beside P.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you just use that two times, just hit it two times, you'll see automatically that square bracket forms.
Okay. Got it. I did it once, but I couldn't repeat it again because I didn't know how to do it again.
Yeah. And just one more tip before this thing. This I find this very useful. So if you have a single, if you have a single square bracket and
Hmm.
a rounded bracket,
Hmm.
what this is this is a title to a link, right?
Hmm.
And then you can just take a link and then dump it here. So links looks ugly if it's like unformatted or doesn't have a read thing, right?
Yeah.
So that way it becomes a
Oh,
link and
wow.
you're not able to see it, right? So
Hmm.
now I can click this link and go to it, and then you get to like ignore these things, right? And
Amazing.
just one more small trick on this while we are on it. If you just do a standing pipe, this is what I want to see while reading, right? So basically, if this is a link and this becomes the text that you want to see while it's linked, right? So if I do this, you'll see this is the text that you'll see
Okay.
versus that entire sentence.
Okay. So in case you want to hide some file name
Yes,
written. Yeah.
name. Yeah, you can.
Amazing.
So basically, the way why I do this is like, let's say I want to share this with somebody, right? And I don't want
Hmm.
that entire sentence to be
Hmm.
visible.
Yeah.
I can just say export to PDF. You'll see now that PDF gets exported with this name rather than that entire link. So
Okay.
that just imagine if you want to package this as a PDF and then send it out, or let's say you've written the entire book, like each chapter is one MD file and you've written it, and just you want to export that one chapter without all of these things um, um, visible, or the links that you created be visible in a different way, then you can do that so that this becomes a well packaged product for the viewer to read in. Just thinking from the viewer's perspective.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Amazing. So people can write their entire book in this.
Yeah, you can write your entire book in this. I have a
Oh.
small little trick
Hmm.
that I use generally.
Okay. Hmm.
So Obsidian is a good this thing coupled with Typora. So if you are like, where is this? Open with default app. So there's this Typora app again, which is a free app where this is entirely used for writing books, right? This
Wow.
type of you'll see that heading one and all of that thing.
Hmm.
So if you don't like this editing, I come here for writing because this has only this. Like it doesn't have any other linking and all of that thing.
Hmm. So
So
there's
coupled with
no
Typora
storage
also,
issues, no, in Obsidian.
no storage issues. Yeah.
Okay.
So my entire brain will be hardly 5 MB right now.
Okay.
So no issues at all.
Hmm.
Only if you put media, like I have a certain media available, like I do some random ideas or napkin drawings. So I put this media.
Hmm.
So if
Okay.
you exclude the media, then it's just text file. So even if you like write maybe, let's say 10, 90 or 1 lakh notes, you will not be more than 100 MB.
Okay. I think that's enough for my
Yeah.
27-year-old brain.
Yes. Okay.
How
And in
long have
fact,
you been? Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, in fact, the person who introduced this, he
Hmm.
wrote 90,000, 95,000, 96,000 of this independent notes,
Okay.
like in his lifetime.
Hmm.
And he churned out, let's say, 30 or 40 books in his, he started when he was 30. And by the time he was 60, he churned out 50 odd books. And once he died, he's known as the author that was able to create 6 more books, the most number of books after his death also,
Wow. I
through
need to
this
research
system.
about this guy.
Yeah, it's basically the Zell. Uh,
The Zencaster method, is
yeah,
it
Zell.
Zel something? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I read about it.
yeah. If you've yeah, Zellcaster method. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. I still don't. The what's this called? Slip box. Slip box method. Yes, slip box method. Yeah, it's this. It's basically this Zettelkasten.
Zettelkasten. Oh yeah. Hmm. Perfect.
Yeah, so Zettelkasten. Yeah, so this is the guy. He wrote some 90,000, 95,000 notes,
Hmm.
and each note was one idea and one only idea. And he linked all of the. He kept linking the notes,
Hmm.
and so he picked one root node and saw all the relevant notes and started writing on that topic. And so that's why he was able to produce so much content.
Amazing. Oh my God. People have done such wonderful work.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, man, note taking is such an art. And if that 1,500 days, if I had written it here,
Oh
I would
my
not be
God.
struggling to put churn out content.
And also the documentation that you do for yourself about your life, nothing can replace
Yeah,
that.
correct.
By the way, Kunal,
Yeah,
how long have you been using Obsidian?
I've been using Obsidian. I'll just show you. Now everything gets recorded, right? So I have this daily note. This is a daily note thing here.
Hmm.
I started, so November 20th November I started. So this was the thing. Write every day again. That's what I told myself. And I've been writing there. So you'll see there's a lot of things I
So
was
every
building.
day you write what you learned that day from podcast or a video, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever I do, like you told, right? Like you don't see a video or a book without taking notes.
Taking notes,
That's
yeah.
the format I've been using. So every day I went there and started picking notes there.
Okay.
Like, so some days you'll see that I expanded on a lot of things. Oh, I should do this, I should do that, and I should do that, and you'll see all of these things sort of
Hmm.
come together there.
Oh my God.
But yeah, more on this. We'll do more on this daily notes. But yeah, if you want to get into the daily note practice, what you need to go do in the settings is go to third party core plugins.
You can add plugins also in this.
Oh yeah, there are themes and all of that thing. I'll just show you quickly how you can customize themes. Browse, and you have themes. So the theme that, so neon is good because it gives a visual way of looking at things. Notation, the one that I use is minimal panic mode. Right. Okay, I don't know where mine went. Obsidian, yeah, something like this. Maybe something like this. But if you just take a random, let's take a good one that we have. Let's use this one, right? Oh, where's that?
That one looks like we are in a matrix.
Yeah, so some of them are really good, like for visual sake.
Hmm.
Yeah, so if you do that, and now you are in this mode, or you can do a light mode also if you want. But this is a dark mode
Yeah.
theme, right? So you have this theme. Now you see that entire theme changed. So you can sort of customize this.
Hmm.
Where's I will choose. I'll use this atom for now. Editor. Wiki appearance. hotkeys. This is where you can customize your hotkeys if you want. But recommend just stay away from any of the hotkey keys for now.
I think I'm not gonna be doing any of this for the first 2 months,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. So only thing, if you want to have a daily note and have a this thing, what you need to do is just come here to the core plugins and just say daily notes, and so you'll have this daily notes. I typically have this format. This is the DD MMMYYY format. This because okay, DD capital M capital YYY format. So just do this itself, um, and new daily notes will be placed here, right? So there is this. What you can do is you create a folder for your daily notes. A second brain. I will call this as 005 daily notes, because you'll tend to increase this a lot, because every day one note, right? So it will
Yeah.
be increased. So you come here, you'll see that daily notes come in. So all you do is just choose a format of how that date should be looking like and the daily notes folder, right? And then close it. Now, what happens is the only addition that comes here is open today's note. So you open today's note, 19 December note here, what to do. And you start, okay, let's action something on LinkedIn, right? And so now when you go back to the graph, you'll see
The date will appear there.
yeah, the date will appear.
Okay.
And you see on LinkedIn, I have decided to do something on this thing. So I go there and that's the note that is there for me, right? So I just come here. For me, like everything I look as a habit building. So Obsidian habit was through this daily note. I click this daily note every day once to ensure that I have one note every day with one line minimum at least.
Okay. Wow. Got it. And how much time do you spend on it every day?
So let me just show you something. I have this another habit making app. It's called Dailyo. So if I add a note, I don't know if you can see this.
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. I have to disable the background. And so if you see here, there is this category called second brain that I use here, right? So these are the my core habits. These are my core habits, and you'll see that there's writing, meditation, yoga, and all of that thing,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And then so it's a reminder that all of these are the ones that I do daily.
Got it.
So I put that as a habit that, okay, go use second brain.
So that means at least 30 minutes every day?
Yeah, at least 30 minutes every day. And just to put the ideas together or organizing, because especially I have to do this daily right now, because I want to get all of those journal notes that I have on sitting there in various books to this place. And at the same time, I want to also convert them into content, right? So during my most lull times or dull times, I do this organizing. I go through my notes and just blindly keep typing them and linking them, where you don't have to you really use thinking or anything like that.
Pretty amazing. I think you've done a great job, and you have given me that motivation to compile and digitalize all my notes. I think it will take me at least 1 month if I spend significant amount of time every day.
Yeah.
And I think I want to ask one last question. How has your life changed after using Obsidian?
So two things happened when I'm starting to use Obsidian. I got very consistent at taking random notes and random ideas. Like I'm not now scared of going into random topics, right? Which was earlier on very difficult to stay focused. No, I should be doing only YouTube. I should be doing only this idea, or I should only develop this idea, right? And so that's one biggest change. I don't have any regret or anxiety or worried about that, hey, my these notes are not going to get captured. Now everything gets captured in whatever order it comes to, right? So
Yeah.
it releases the stress that, hey, that important idea I missed, or I could have written it down, right? None of that. I just have a process to put that into Obsidian, and I know someday or the other, if it is there, I can reference it back.
Yes.
So that's one change. Other thing is, now I don't run out of content to make or ideas to generate content, right? So whatever idea I have, one liner, two liner, I just dump it there. Down the line, when I'm developing the idea, I consistently uh, develop them. And that blocking, that writer's block, where you're like sitting and thinking about, hey, what should I write now, has more or less significantly reduced, because now I can just sit and start writing, and it has given me like it's sort of helped me enjoy the process of writing,
Yeah.
right? So that's one of the life changes that,
Yeah.
or the thought process changed
Yeah.
after
Because
reading Obsidian.
I think it is because you can see your process, like how far you have come and what all you're doing every day. So it's like your life right in front of you.
Right, yeah, it is.
And also, has it helped you in your deep thinking? I think it must have a lot.
Yes, it does, it did a lot. So for me, like writing, the process of, where's my, yeah, so if you see here, this is the adjective content creators podcast. And now I'm able to like have a lot of links and have a more or less an idea of how things evolved, right? Like for example, I fumble a lot during the first few minutes of the podcast, and I sweat a lot during the first few minutes of it, of the podcast. And what that does is, because I sweat and fumble, um, it sort of makes me cold and shivering throughout the entire process, right? So now this was the idea I couldn't have come across if I didn't make writing as a habit, or um, I would have just let it go. But now I don't let it go. Like I follow it. I am now able to stick to this particular process of what happens, right? Why do I sweat? But it's there in this place, so I know I have to take care of it. And since it's not like a big issue for me, but ultimately I have to solve it, right? And so since it's here, it's no longer in my brain, it's here. And so whenever I have time and I look at this, oh, I did something here, what are the tricks I did, and how did I evolve to it, and all of that thing is sort of here, so it's remembered in the order that I had experienced it. And so now, at any point of time, I can say a story like, this is what I did, this is what happened, and I can make a blog post out of it, or just continue tracking this the way I started, the way I moved away from not sweating or fumbling during start of a podcast, right? So it's just that's the way it sort of helped me think better in terms of a problem, right? This is one use case, and there are multiple others that helped me.
I'm truly amazed by how easily you've described this problem which a lot of podcasters face. And I think
Mm.
when you put them down in words, you realize that you're becoming friends with your problem. They are not scared. You are not scared of them anymore because you can see it, you can read it. And after you've read it like 5 times or 10 times, you know that you are going to fumble or you're going to get not nervous in the first few minutes, but you try
Hmm.
to live up to that and you try to get better with every podcast, right?
Yeah. That's the only way to move forward, actually. I mean, beyond this point, like you just have to keep going. I don't know, like, and more with this, I'm now enjoying the process of doing things
Hmm.
because I know that everything is here, and whenever I want to plug back into a project or plug out of a project, I know everything is recorded here. So
Yes.
like the Zettelkasten told, right? He never worked on a project for so long. Like he continually worked on what he was curious about at that point of time. So let's say he was curious about podcast for certain time, so he used to work on that, and he, let's say, he was, saturated with that, so he'll move on to do something. And so he only kept on doing things that he loved, in whichever order they came. And so he was able to build so many things, right? And I see the same thing happening here, where I'm like able to jump between different topics which interest me, and I'm never like unmotivated to do things, because I see things, oh, I've done so many things here, I could do so many things here. And there's so many ideas that are coming, which I can explore on. Right now I'm exploring copywriting. I don't know designing. I'm trying to explore designing, and I'm making codes. I don't know how to make perfect copyrighted, you know, landing pages. So I'm doing that, and all of that thing is here. So I'm able to do things. Or else, you forget. You start the project, you forget it. But here, I know everything is here, and so I can pick it up whenever I want. And that sort of keeps that creative juice, but in different fields or whichever areas that you're curious in.
I can see it, and your journey, your process, and documentation has inspired me to do the same for me. And you're doing a great job, Kunal. I can't thank you enough for taking out your time and explaining us in such detail how to use Obsidian and build a second brain. Thank you so much, and please tell us our watchers and listeners where they can find you.
Yeah, so I'm available on LinkedIn. Yeah, so LinkedIn, I'll share my LinkedIn post. And by the way, this is another tab where the most important thing, it's called Toby. If you are like, the most important links will all be available there, and it'll remind you which app to open for
Oh, okay.
categories.
In the beginning I thought this is Google Keep. Google Keep or
No, no, no.
Google Key?
Yeah, Google Keep, but this is
Keep.
Toby. It's a Chrome plugin where you can have all your tabs available, the quick links that you have, and
Hmm.
organize it in a way that you want. So yeah,
Wow.
you can get uh, connect
I
with me
think
on LinkedIn.
I think you should you can truly what do you call it? You can truly dominate the same niche that Ali Abdal is doing on YouTube because of seeing all
Yeah,
the productivity tools and
yeah,
platforms you're using.
yeah. But I want to find it's more or less in the same niche, but yeah.
Hmm.
But
You're
so yeah,
a
I can connect.
bit technical, right?
Yeah, bit technical.
Hmm.
Yeah, and one of my core strength is learning. Like you give me any topic or this thing,
Hmm.
I can learn that very well, and then quickly apply it also. So that's one of the core skills that I'm continuously developing. It's not something that I had.
Hmm.
I was mostly lazing around till 26 years of my age, but once I figured out, okay, I can learn and apply things. That's I doubled down on that. That's all.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, you can
So,
reach out to me on
hmm,
LinkedIn. I'm available on Twitter, or on the email ID fxxl@gmail.com.
perfect. And guys, Kunal has recently started his podcast as well. And when is the episode launching, Kunal? The one that we recorded?
Yeah, yeah. So that will be in Jan. So what I'm doing is I'm collecting podcasts way ahead, so that I get a month's time to create more new process and schedule them. So
Perfect.
I've recorded so far 3 podcasts. They'll be coming. First one will be on coming on 5th Jan, and then 2 weeks later another one, 2 weeks later another one, right? And then subsequently a lot of other podcasts. So I'm going to do a 2-week podcast, just because primarily I have to run a YouTube channel and also a podcast. So 2 podcasts, in fact. So that's
Wow,
it.
you are doing a lot of work. I can see that. And thanks again, Kunal. And I'm sure a lot of people will reach out to you after this video.
Yeah, definitely. More than happy to help. And again, together as camaraderie, we can create content or improve the way that we create content or monetize or have a passive income on top of it.
Yes, I agree. See you, Kunal, until next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye.